Go.
Hello, my name is Kevin Casper, and together, along with Jacob Simon Murky, we have created SmartTrack, a web platform for a smart, integrated pulse oximeter with user-programmable scheduling. So I'm going to go ahead and start our server. And I am hosting our server on an AWS instance, and I have attached an elastic IP address, so we have a more readable format. I'm going to go ahead and connect, and you can see our remote terminal logging all of our HTML requests. So this is HeartTrack. I'm going to go ahead and log out. And this is our homepage, just small credits, an info page coming soon. So let's go ahead and make an account. This is our sign-in page. Click Need an Account. And we're just going to make a new account. And if you try and create a password that is too weak, or if you have a field that is empty, you will get some nice error feedback thrown at you. So we're going to go ahead and create a password that's strong. After successful creation, we'll be redirected to the login page, where we can just use that new account. And sign in. You will be immediately taken to the user profile page where you'll be able to see your information, including the last time you accessed this. At this point, we're going to go ahead and register a new device. We give all of our devices a friendly name to identify them. And we're going to go ahead and enter a device ID, which we've retrieved from the Argon device itself. So we can hit Add Device, and you can see that we have connected to particle servers, and we have properly connected to the device. So if we refresh the page, you'll be able to see the new device. It also displays the API key and the option to ping it. So if you have multiple devices, you can know exactly which one that you're speaking with. I'm going to show you the overview page right here. And once we have some readings, they will be displayed on this page. Our navigation bar is dynamic, so if you log out, you'll not be able to access any of those pages. So I'm going to go ahead and log back in, and I'm going to hand it over to Jacob now.
Yep, so I'm going to share my screen so that we can see the terminal that I'm going to be using for the particle serial monitor. So I'm going to get particle going. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug the device. We had to have it plugged in to get the API key set. And I'm going to plug it back in so that we can walk through that whole initializing process. So the monitor is open successfully. You'll see that the Argon is flashing itself right now. It's going to take a quick second to do that. And you'll see some lines printing. The API key matches what we see on the web page, and it's going through this initializing process. So you can or cannot have your finger. The LED is red during the initialization process. And then once it turns yellow, as it did right there, it's kind of hard to see, but you'll know that it's waiting. And now we've set it at an interval for about 5 seconds to wait for measurements, just that you can see that the particle will ask for measurements. When the LED is blue, the RGB LED on the device is blue, that means that it's waiting for a measurement and the measurement process hasn't started. The moment I put my finger on it, you'll see it turn purple. And then we see new measurements go through, and we did get a valid reading, and that did get posted. I'm going to go ahead and add a couple more measurements here, just so that we see what the actual display looks like. And you'll see that once the particle does finish taking a measurement, it will go back to yellow and then start blinking blue after that threshold or that time frequency has been reached. I'll go ahead and do one more here. And it's back to yellow. The post gets recorded on the server, and then it's back to blue and blinking. So that's the full state machine representation of our particle code. I'm going to go ahead and show you the webhook that we have. So it is connected to the server URL that Kevin showed earlier, and our endpoint is health measurement. That's where we're posting that information. We are posting the particles device ID, the API key that's stored in the EEPROM. So that's one of the reasons why we have to have the device on when you register it, is because up here we do set a cloud function that will store an API key in the EEPROM. And here's a quick look at our state machine. So we are using a state-based system. We have an initialization state, a waiting state where that LED is yellow, waiting for a measurement. The measure state, as I had mentioned here, if the RGB LED is blue, then the measurement process has not started. And then if the if the RGB LED becomes purple, that means that the measurement process has started, and to keep your finger on the device. And then once the device goes back to yellow, the flashing blue LED will stop, and that means it's waiting for another measurement. You'll see up here I did set the millisecond threshold back to 30, but for this purpose it was set to 5 so that we could quickly push a couple of readings to the server. And with that, now that all of our readings are set, Kevin's going to go ahead and show you what our overview page looks like for when you get some measurements posted.
Okay, welcome back. I'm going to show you that in our monitor, we have received those readings from the device. They are attached to the device ID. We have the heart rate and the blood oxygen, as well as the time that we received the measurement. So if we go back to our user profile, we can visit the overview page, and you will see all of the measurements that we have received so far. A heart rate at 60, a brief jump to 125, as well as the device that sent them over. Just checking back at the terminal again, we can see that we are retrieving the statistics through a GET request and passing along the device ID as the parameter. So we're going to log out here, and we'll log in. So we logged back in. You can see our device here. We still have our readings. And let's give it a friendly name. And supposing at this point we only have one argon functioning, so we will just add a fake device ID here and go ahead and add device. And as you can see, it has created a new card. It has assigned it a new device API key and inserted the device ID. So we can go back to the overview page. There are no readings for it. You are able to delete devices. There's a warning that deleting the device cannot be undone. You will lose all of the readings associated. So we're going to go ahead and delete, and it clears automatically. If we delete the one that has readings on it, we can refresh the page and visit the overview, and you will see that all of the readings associated with the device have been removed. Thank you for watching our presentation. Unless Jacob has something else to add.
The one last thing that I was going to mention before we wrap things up is looking at the particle cone. One of the things that we did notice was that it is fairly consistent in reading the blood oxygenation levels. So that was very nice. You saw that all those were at 80. When we were testing it, sometimes we would get 81, sometimes we would get 79. So that's a nice thing that we don't have to reconfigure. But this maximum heart rate and oxygen saturation is fairly inaccurate when it comes to performing the heart rate calculations. So our intentions in the future are to make that more accurate, but for the purposes here, we do know that the argon can take those readings and post them to the server, and that the web page will display them nicely and cleanly. And that's all we have.